And that's the operation attendance of bid committees. I note we've only lost about 4 people since we've gone way over. Operations and attendance of bid committees. The accounting officer must ensure that the institution's SCM process provides for the establishment, composition, and functioning of bid specification, evaluation, and adjudication committees, and the selection of bid committee members. For the first time now, Treasury is saying Schedule 2s, 3Bs, and 3Ds must have bid specification, evaluation, adjudication committees. That the procurement through a bidding process is subject to the bid committee system referred to in 911, and then all bid committee members are duly appointed, and that a formal set of delegations be issued, and a quorum is established for each of these committees to enable them to function efficiently and effectively. Not giving any detail around the role and responsibility of the committees. If we think back to where that's described currently in the PFMA, there is a lot of old circulars that describe the role of each of the committees and the responsibilities of each of the committees. That's not described here. So this would be quite vague for a Schedule 2 that has never had to worry about what's in the old circular that describes these committees. They just know they have to have these specification, evaluation, adjudication committees as described here, and members must be appointed, and they need to have a quorum. Interesting, we've not had this level. This is in the draft public procurement bill, but it's stating very specifically now that independent experts may be co-opted to a bid evaluation or adjudication committee, not specifications committee, in an advisory capacity, and will have no voting rights and must be subject to the same conflict of interest declaration disclosures as other bid committee members are required to comply with and to address and avoid any potential conflicts. Surprised that specification committee is not here. Which is most often where the independent experts are required. And then 9.3 just says, hey, relevant Treasury may at sole discretion choose to attend bid committee meetings as in an observer capacity. So 9.3 is, this exists now already in the current abuse instruction. Can anybody tell me, this is in section 10 of the current abuse instruction, and there's something that's missing here that is in the current section 10, which is not here. Anybody want to tell me what that is? Come on, come on, come on. Henry, I know you know.
Yes. I won't say.
Yeah, what's missing here, everybody, is the joint and several liability statement has been excluded. I don't think it makes any difference. I think that joint and several liability will still be applicable, but interesting it's not described here. Any comments on the bid committee meetings section of this? Any comments on that? Sanele.
Thank you, Sean. My take on this one is just the point I raised earlier about the threshold.
The thresholds, yeah.
At least we can't just say every procurement must go to the bid committee. At least we need to determine at what level, maybe above 30,000 or above 500,000 or above $1 million. So I think at some point there's some point that is missing there. And the roles of the bid committees are quite detailed. So I don't think it may be wise enough to have them here or on this instruction. Maybe the instruction can be accompanied by the terms of reference for bid committees, where they will detail what needs to happen. I'm saying this because currently...
But where are they detailed?
I think the area where they are detailed is the old guide for accounting authorities.
The guide and the
old,
circular,
Circulars.
And that guide is not necessarily up to speed. It's a very old guide.
Very
it
old,
talks
sure.
about a bid specification committee which
Sure.
needs to compile specification, which is not true in the sense of the practicality, because a person who compiles the specification is a project manager, an end user, a client. And the bid specification committee reviews those specs and make recommendations. So I think that they need to maybe at least try and issue out an associated document to this instruction which details the roles of
Sure.
the
Agreed.
BC
Agreed.
and
We're on the same page.
yeah.
Agreed.
And then I think also the last one. Sean, can you hear me?
Hang on a sec. Thanks, Mbali. Go ahead now.
Yeah, and I think the last point is we need to decide how long will be the validity of the appointment of each committee. Currently, everyone appoints committees maybe for 5 years. Others, they appoint, like I met at the department last year, which appoints committees for 18 months.
Yeah.
And if you ask them why, they said 12 months is quite short. And you can't argue with them because there's nowhere where you base your argument. So we need to be at least clear. If it's 12 months or 24 months, maybe to give them enough time. So we need to just be clear how long are they going to be valid, their appointment. Thanks.
Thank you. Now, Mbali was going to speak. She's at Transnet Port Terminals, which is a Schedule 2. Let's just see if you can unmute now and just give us your comments.
Okay, morning again, colleagues.
Morning.
I think on the Transnet side, and us being a Schedule 2, we've been using the bid committees and quite extensively. And we've got our bid committees, their roles and responsibilities also quite detailed out in our internal documents. So for our side, I think because we're such a big organization, that's why we have those things in place. So with this, us being included now in this, it won't be any change
There
for us.
shouldn't be a big issue for you. Yeah.
It won't be, yeah, because we quite extensive in terms of the bid committees, the appointments, also in terms of ensuring that they are appointed, because we appoint on each project basis. So we do ensure that each committee is appointed for that specific project before they even partake in any of the activities, and also in terms of the declarations. So
you're saying that from a Transnet perspective, this is not going to be a major issue?
No, it won't.
Certainly a Port Terminals perspective. And I used to be the old port native. Am I not? Am I?
Yeah.
Eskom, I'm not sure about Eskom's bid committee systems. I think they are a little bit different. SABC have had bid committees for some time. Denel, I'm not sure. But okay, good to hear. Thanks, Mbali.
All right,
good one.
thanks.
Thank you. Lindy, where? Sorry, Henry. Yeah.
I think most of them do have some kind of form of, call it bid committee system. Some of them I just call them different, like they call them a tender committee, or so they might not have the same levels. So that I think is something that's going to change. They don't necessarily have a bid specification committee. They have the further on the evaluation and so that I see some of those institutions that will have to change, specifically on the specification side. Anyway, it's just a small comment. I've got a comment to make at the end, but I will keep that for now.
Henry, so on Sanele's point around the thresholds, instruction 2 that came out last year, effective the 1st of August on the quotations, said that bid committees must be used above R1 million for tenders, and that if they want, they can use a bid committee system for a quotation. If this is put out into the marketplace for Schedule 2s, 3Bs, and Ds that don't have to comply with instruction 2
of last year.
is there an issue?
They're going to be confusion. So they're going to be confusion.
Why?
And from an audit perspective, because the auditors might again.
Oh, okay. But forget the auditors. I mean, they're always confused.
Look, I mean, as it stands, there's not then an issue for Schedule 2, provided they, have these committees and there's nothing more said, then there's no issue.
There shouldn't be an issue, hey?
No issue. So because your quotation thresholds are different and all of those things, so there shouldn't be issues. They most probably will just then use it for which they in any case use. I would assume most of those tools, that they use it for competitive bids.
So if the definition here and the understanding is that all procurement through a bidding process is a open competitive tendering process at the threshold of either $1 million or as per your organization's threshold, if you're Schedule 2 or 3B or 3D, then I guess this would be okay.
Yeah, this doesn't say much then from that perspective. I think what's important is what you have in your specific institutional policy
for the 2s, 3Bs, and 3Ds. Yeah. Thanks, Lindiwe. I think you raised your hand, Lindiwe.
Yes, Sean. I wanted to quickly comment on Sandela's point in relation to the term of office for bid committees. That I think we all know that the spec and evaluation, the ad hoc committees, they're not standing committee. However, when it comes to the standing committee, which is the adjudication committee, I want to believe that I wouldn't feel comfortable if there's a prescription in terms of the term of office for adjudication committee members, because of the uniqueness of each and every entity. Because serving at these committees is not just a tick box compliance, but one needs to have specific competency and skills to be able to serve at these committees. And there's a reason why in other institutions you'll find that the term of office for adjudication committee members is anything between 3 or 5 years. You might find that in that specific institution, there are limited competencies and skills for other people to serve or to rotate them in the adjudication committee. So I think it will be upon each and every institution to determine whether they want their committee members to serve a period of 18 months, like you said, or 24 months, but every decision it must be supported by a valid decision as to why they appoint them for a specific period.
Lindiwe, do you think that as part of the feedback to Treasury, we should ask National Treasury to update the circular on the Code of Conduct for Bid Adjudication Committee members, and maybe update that and also include specifications and evaluation?
That they are terms of reference.
Yeah, because the duty that
for
circular.
The benefit, for the benefit, I'll agree with you, especially for the benefit of those institutions that have never had to comply with having all these committees before. And I think it's actually it's also in one of that instruction note that speaks about establishment of supply chain management. I think it captures them on a high level in terms of the different roles and responsibilities.
That's early circular. That's
I think 2004.
Yeah,
yes,
that's right. Yeah. Okay, very good. There we are, everybody. Important points. Now, in the emails that we sent out to you all, there is a section in there where you can actually write and give feedback to Treasury. I just want to encourage each of you, if you are in an institution, give some feedback. There's a lot of feedback that you can give. I will be doing that together with Henry. We'll do that. Although we are not employed by organs of state, we will certainly give that feedback, and Treasury have always acknowledged that when we have done it. But I would encourage you to do that. It is important to give feedback, and then also Treasury then have an obligation to get back to you on the points that you've raised. Even if you feel that, gee whiz, there's just so much feedback to give, even if you give 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 points of feedback, that would be worthwhile. And it would benefit Treasury and would benefit the entire profession if you did that. Lindiwe?
Yeah, just to add on what you're saying, Sean, I also wanted to encourage colleagues that they can also request extension from directly from the acting CPO, because we know that the deadline for submission is this coming Friday. However, I know from our institution and from the other colleagues that National Treasury has given them extension up until end of January. So
has that been done? Has that been done? Okay. I asked at the beginning.
I requested it.
Have they come back yet?
I requested it personally for, they've come back to me, and I wanted a blanket extension on the system, but they said no, but you, as you are for my institution, we give you up until end of the month. And I know other colleagues, other organs of state that have requested the extension. They were directed to the.
Thanks, Lindiwe. Good one. Yeah, hi, Henry.
These are some significant changes that you went through. I'm starting. I mean, obviously, when it came out last year, I was wondering. I think what I'm starting to pick up is that the draft bill is most probably now moving towards 2023. Might be wrong, but that's what I'm picking up. It's definitely not going to happen in 2022, because just given some of these updates coming through. So
I think that for me, the biggest impact that will push out the draft public procurement bill to next year is the Zondo Commission's report. I can't see Treasury pushing through with the current version, ignorant of what that Zondo Commission's report has got. So they're going to have to do something significant and make some big changes in that. Lindiwe, do you want to add, and then we'll go to Sonele?
Yeah, I just wanted to support what you're saying, because I quickly scanned through the Zondo report. I started with the recommendation, and one of the key recommendations that they're making is that the current act on combating and prevention of corruption, abuse, and whatever, there are specific clauses in that act that the commission is requesting that they should be looked at, they should be revised. So that is outside the competence of National Treasury. So I agree that the current draft bill as it needs to be drastically updated, so that part of the key recommendations that are on the Zondo report, they are also taken into account, and also some of the recommendation or the things that have been mentioned on those specific clauses in the report that speaks about public procurement in South Africa. It's important that Treasury note and take some of those things into account.
Absolutely. Thank you. Sonele, we'll give you the last comment.
Sure. Thanks, Sean. I was very happy when I saw some of the snippets of the report, because they talk about what I always talk about, the professionalization of supply chain. So I'm highly interested in seeing how is it going to unfold, because I did make some comments way back to National Treasury that at least the public procurement bill should at least carry these provisions. And as much as they are saying there will be a separate act, but at least the bill must also highlight how is it going to unfold. I was very happy when the report was highlighting this, but also I had another point that I wanted to make, which is not on the instruction, just a quick one.
Sure.
You know, there's a serious abuse in central subtitles database. When it was introduced, it was meant to say everyone must have an equal chance of bidding and be able to do business with the state. But now it doesn't seem to be working in that direction, because the colleagues continue to have separate databases, unofficial databases, and they're saying as long as you are registered on CSD, then you can be sourced to be used on whatever procurement. So I think maybe if the instruction can have a sourcing strategy on how to source service providers on CSD and make that as an instruction. This is a process to follow, just a brief process. Inside the commodity, you print a list of service providers, and this is how you go about. So that at least there will be a direction, and then it can start to say, if you can't find service providers that are suitable with that particular commodity, then what do you do? Because there's a serious abuse in that space, and the businesses, they still complain that the CSD does not help us with anything.
Yeah.
So I think that in that case, there should be something.
Good one. Thanks, Sanele. Let's get the team that's busy doing the work on CSD online to engage with you all, and we'll certainly pick up on that one. Sanele, your point around VAT, Tundi on VAT, we'll certainly do that. And yes, if you really feel that you've got a lot more to give, that you can't provide input by this Friday, request an extension, as Lindiwe has said, and looks like you'll get that extension. But this is a very significant piece of legislation, so let's not take this lightly. And I think give credit to Treasury where they where it's due. There are some welcome changes in this one that will improve things, but we've got to help Treasury with some more specifics around the issues, which I think this is going to not necessarily reduce abuse, but it may actually have the undesired consequences of actually increasing abuse, which is not what we want. So let's be sure that we give Treasury some good feedback on that one. All right, everybody. Just to confirm, I've just had confirmation back. Let me go to my little presentation, which I had here. I've just had confirmation back from, give me a second, Dr. Alison Anthony, that she will join us next week on Wednesday to discuss her book on construction procurement law in South Africa. So that's confirmed for next week. And yeah, we've got some interesting things that just waiting for confirmations from different people on the different dates. But yeah, make an effort to come in, even if you're not in the construction space, to come and engage a little bit with Dr. Anthony on this. We're finding more and more. I was in a province the other day, and I think every single department outside of public works is now doing construction procurement, and very important that we understand this a lot more. So good opportunity to join us. We'll be giving away a free book as well from Alison Anthony, and yeah, that will be next week. So all the best to everybody. Have a good week, and looking forward to seeing you online next week, and all the best at getting your feedback to Treasury. Have a good week.